1,300 acres, 2,000 homes, and a detour through Tallahassee from the Palm Bear. On December 28, 2025, a company called Rolling Meadow Ranch filed an environmental permit with the St. Johns River Water Management District. The permit covers 1 mile of road construction through 1,300 acres in southwest Brevard County. The project name is Rolling Meadow Lakes. The plan is more than 2,000 homes. The land sits outside Palm Bay's city limits. It is unincorporated Brevard County, but it is legally guaranteed Palm Bay water and sewer service, not by contract, by state law. How County Land ended up with a locked-in city utility hookup is a question with an answer. That answer runs through Tallahassee, through a special act of the Florida legislature, and through a man who is simultaneously a sitting Palm Bay council member and a paid lobbyist for the developer. The property belongs to Rolling Meadow Ranch, Incorporated, a Florida corporation active since 1973. Andrew Machada, 88, of Vero Beach, is the president. He is a substantial landowner. The Brevard County property appraiser lists 9 parcels, totaling approximately 1,346 acres, all classified unincorporated District 5. Combined market value, roughly $5.28 million. All parcels carry agricultural classification. The tax burden is a fraction of market value. The application is for 1 mile of the St. John's Heritage Parkway. That road is Palm Bay's planned north-south relief route, conceived in the 1990s to reduce congestion on Minton Road. After decades of planning and construction, it exists today as 2 disconnected stubs. The northern segment runs about 7.8 miles from Malabar Road to I-95 at Ellis Road. The southern segment runs 1.67 miles from I-95 at Meco Road to Babcock Street. Between them, roughly 14 miles of nothing. Rolling Meadow Lakes proposes to build 1 mile inside that gap. If constructed, about 13 miles still remain unbuilt. The developer pays for the road. It is classified as a private off-site improvement. That is a reversal from the city's earlier approach, where Palm Bay issued revenue notes and left taxpayers servicing a $9 million road bond. A Florida Auditor General audit found the city had assumed an estimated $16.4 million deficit without securing actual developer contributions. But the road is not the story. The road is how you get to the story. This land was not always outside Palm Bay. It was annexed into the city around 2005. For nearly a decade, it sat there without advancing. In 2014, Rolling Meadow Ranch filed 2 planning applications for a planned unit development of approximately 1,373 acres. The project did not proceed under Palm Bay's approval process.
Then, in 2019, the Florida legislature passed CS/HB 1063, a special act that formally removed the property from Palm Bay's municipal limits and returned it to unincorporated Brevard County. Governor Ron DeSantis signed it May 10, 2019. State Representative Randy Fine sponsored the bill. The bill analysis explains why a special act was necessary. The land does not meet the criteria for standard de-annexation under Florida statutes. 60% of the area proposed for removal is adjacent to either municipal boundaries or land developed for urban purposes. Under normal rules, that makes it eligible for annexation, not removal. A special act bypassed those criteria. No referendum was required. The act covered more than just the Rolling Meadow parcels. The legal description encompasses more than 5,800 acres across 5 blocks. Palm Bay lost approximately $43,538 in annual ad valorem tax revenue. But the act did something else. It embedded a utility guarantee into Florida law. CS/HB 1063 requires Palm Bay to provide the de-annexed area with access to public water and sewer on the same terms and at the same rates as other eligible land in the city service area. It explicitly prohibits the city from requiring annexation as a condition of utility service. The developer can build 2,000 homes on county land and receive city water and sewer without ever rejoining Palm Bay. The practical result? Palm Bay has no authority to stop this development. Zoning, permitting, and density decisions belong to Brevard County. Palm Bay cannot use utility service as leverage. The city is legally obligated to serve the development, but has no seat at the table where the development gets approved. Someone had to carry that bill to Tallahassee. That person was Calvin Holton III, who goes by Tress. He is the CEO of the Holton Group, a Palm Bay-based government relations firm. He first won a council seat in 2001. He served as deputy mayor in 2002. He returned to the council in November 2014. On November 16, 2017, his council colleagues appointed him deputy mayor of Palm Bay again. 6 days earlier, on November 10, 2017, Holton had become a confidential human source for the FBI. According to FDLE investigative reports, Holton was terminated as an FBI source on July 11, 2018. The reason? Withholding information and providing statements in contradiction to evidence. On January 2, 2019, Holton registered with the state of Florida as a lobbyist for Rolling Meadow Ranch, Incorporated. His registration shows a branch of Florida House and Senate. The public hearing on HB 1063 at Palm Bay City Hall was held January 15th. The bill was filed February 25th. Holton prepared and signed the economic impact statement attached to the bill analysis. Governor DeSantis signed it May 10, 2019. Holton withdrew his lobbyist registration December 4, 2019.
Read that timeline again. Holton became deputy mayor on November 16, 2017. He had become an FBI informant 6 days before taking that office. He was terminated as an FBI source in July 2018 for lying. He registered as a state lobbyist for Andrew Machado's company on January 2, 2019, while still a sitting Palm Bay council member. He prepared the economic impact statement for a bill removing land from the city where he held elected office. The bill passed. Florida's Code of Ethics for Public Officers is specific. Section 112.313, parentheses 7A, prohibits a public officer from having an employment or contractual relationship that creates a continuing or frequently recurring conflict of interest between private interests and public duties. Section 112.313, parentheses 6, prohibits a public officer from corruptly using official position to secure a special privilege or benefit for others. The statute does not require a bribe. It requires a continuing conflict and the use of position to secure a benefit. The public record documents both. In December 2017, a month after Holton became deputy mayor, retired Circuit Court Judge John Moxley Jr. found probable cause of a conflict of interest violation against Holton in a separate matter. Holton called the complaint baseless and pledged to remain, in his words, truthful, transparent, and ethical. While Holton was serving as deputy mayor, being terminated as an FBI source, and preparing to register as Machado's lobbyist, federal and state agents were recording meetings between Machado and a cooperating Palm Bay council member about routing the St. John's Heritage Parkway through Machado's property. The first recorded meeting was April 25, 2018. David Isnardi, then a senior Palm Bay city official, contacted the cooperating council member and told them developer Andrew Machado wanted to discuss a pending roadway project that could pass by his development. The cooperating source agreed to be equipped with a recording device. Machado arrived in a black Cadillac Escalade. He told the cooperating source he wants the roadway to pass by his development and needs their support. He did not offer a bribe. Then city manager Greg Link arrived at the restaurant. He was not expected by the cooperating source. He sat with Machado and the source. Agents observed Link arrive in a vehicle with government plates. The recording device malfunctioned. The conversation was not captured. A separate FDLE confidential source told investigators Machado pays for Link to fly to Colorado and that Link stays at a residence owned by Machado. The second recorded meeting was June 4, 2018. Machado repeatedly offered the cooperating source reasons why the projected path of the roadway should be altered. He did not offer any enticement. Before leaving, Machado mentioned he was meeting with Deputy Mayor Harry Santiago Jr. the following day. A council vote on the roadway was scheduled for June 7th. No criminal charges resulted from the Parkway routing meetings. The investigations focused on other conduct. David Isnardi was arrested on May 10, 2019, the same day Governor DeSantis signed HB 1063, on charges of racketeering and extortion, unrelated to the Parkway. He pleaded guilty to a single felony charge. Holton was not charged with any offense. The documented facts are these. FBI and FDLE agents recorded a Palm Bay developer lobbying a cooperating council member about routing a publicly funded road past his land. The city manager attended one of those meetings without being invited by the cooperating source. A separate government source said the same city manager received paid travel from the developer. The developer's lobbyist for the subsequent de-annexation of that same land was simultaneously serving as Palm Bay deputy mayor and had recently been terminated from the FBI as a source for lying. The documents speak for themselves. Now, back to today. Schools in the service area are already over capacity. Westside Elementary is operating at 105% and projected to reach 118% by 2026. Bayside High is at 90% and projected to reach 103% by 2027. Remediation is underway, roughly $47 million in additional classrooms. The neighboring Lotus Palm Bay development, with 1,372 proposed units, already received a determination that local schools lack sufficient capacity. Rolling Meadow Lakes, at more than 2,000 homes in the same attendance area, faces the same legal process. Because the property is unincorporated, law enforcement falls to the Brevard County Sheriff's Office. Fire service falls to Brevard County Fire Rescue. Palm Bay Police and Fire have no jurisdiction. That is a direct consequence of the 2019 de-annexation. HB 1063 locked in the city's utility obligation, but was silent on police and fire. Palm Bay's population has grown 21% since 2020, now above 146,000. More than 6,000 people move to the area annually. As of late March 2026, no formal development application has been filed with Brevard County. No utility service agreement has been executed with Palm Bay. No construction timeline has been announced. The SJRWMD permit review is active. What the Palm Bayer has documented here is the public record as it stands. A permit filing, a development history, and a political backstory fully documented in FDLE investigative reports, state lobbying records, Florida legislature bill analyses, and Brevard County property records. None of those documents are secret. All are public record. They have not been assembled in one place before. Read the full article and source documents at thepalmbayer.com. This is The Palm Bayer.